Dubious ones, welcome back to the channel for some more WWE 2K25 news. Today, they just announced the final member of the Dunk and Destruction Pack. So I'm going to leave you my feedback and we're going to take a look to see. So let's get right into it. Alright, so here we are. From buckets to body slams, Jalen Brunson crosses over to the ring in WWE 2K25's Dunk and Destruction Pack. I doubt I'll be able to use the music here, so we're gonna bring that down. But yeah, what can I say is other than who is this jabron? As a longtime wrestling fan and not a huge NBA fan, I wasn't excited to hear any of the NBA superstars that are coming. So for me personally, this is just a jabron taking up a slot that could be used for an otherwise legend or NXT or TNA star or something along those lines. Like, you could have got beer money instead of this, right? Get a James Storm and I don't know. Like, it's just the amount of options they had for DLC and we get jabrons like this. I apologize to anyone who might be a big fan of this guy, whoever this jabron is. But why? What does he have to do with wrestling? Now, if you told me... Oh, and I also haven't touched on yesterday, or not yesterday, but we just got... Was it yesterday? Actually, 2 days ago. They announced that Shaquille O'Neal is jumping in, dropping elbows from the top rope. So again, don't want the music too loud there. Shaq looks great. Shaq makes sense. Shaq has been in wrestling. Shaq has, teased what he wanted to have a match with the Big Show. Shaq makes perfect sense to me. I have no problem. I'm actually excited for Shaq. Shaq's great. Shaq is a great choice. But in this Dunk and Destruction Pack, we have more basketball players than we do wrestlers. We have Abyss, which I think fantastic. We finally got Abyss in a WWE wrestling game. That's super cool. Great Khali. I know there's a lot of huge fans of Great Khali. But Tyrese Halliburton, again, not a huge basketball fan for the modern day anyways. Don't know who that is, but fine. But Shaq makes sense to me, but if you were going to have 3 NBA players, I don't understand why you wouldn't have, Shaq, fine, does make sense, has been in wrestling, wanted to have a match with Big Show, his model looks great. Shaq, no problem. But why wouldn't the other two just be Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone? I mean, at least they have the wrestling tie-in, right? Sure, it was 25 plus years ago, but Dennis Rodman and Dennis Rodman and Hogan against DDP and Karl Malone, you could do the setup for that, have something cool, like bring in the arenas from the Bash of the Beach, I think that they had the match, or whatever pay-per-view it was. You could have that arena in there for it. That was a huge deal in wrestling back when that happened, right? That was huge. So to me, if you were going to do that pack and have, because Shaq's not an active NBA roster member. So if you're going to have legends, why not have ones that make sense, like Rodman, Rodzilla, and Karl Malone? And if you're not going to do that, then why not have bigger names? Like, why not have Shaq, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James? You know, why are we having Tyrese Halliburton? Is that his name? Tyrese Halliburton. And Jalen Brunson. I mean, no offense to anybody who's a fan of these NBA players, great. But this is what Community Creations is for. Do you know what I mean? Like, having him in my game does nothing for me. If you're an NBA fan, Community Creations. I personally don't really care too much about most of the DLC roster members. When I make content, I have to basically mute or get rid of the audio for entrances and stuff anyways, so I'm not playing with sound these days anyways. But when I was, the biggest thing about getting a DLC character for me was getting A, their entrance, because usually their moves would already be in the game, and then B, their music, their theme music. That was the big deal for me. So when you have characters that aren't wrestlers, that don't have a theme music you're chasing, who cares? You could just, if you want one of these characters, you can get them off Community Creations. If they're that big a deal, someone will make a great Tyrese Halliburton or a Jalen Brunson. Again, Shaq makes sense to me. He's a big name who's been involved with wrestling. You can finally have that match in game with the Big Show, right? Or put him up against, Khali's or Abyss's other players in the pack, giants in the pack. That makes sense. Like, to me, this makes sense out of this pack. And if it was just Shaq, no problem. If it was Shaq and LeBron, got it. Throw Jordan in there. Got it. Sure. Big names. Fine. Or throw in, like I said, Rodman and Karl Malone. Really makes sense. If you just did Rodman, I'd understand that because he was involved. Like Karl Malone had that one angle with Rodman. Rodman came in to the NWO a few times. He was involved with more than just that one angle, right? So Rodman would have made a lot of sense to me. It's just these other two guys, this Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. To me, it's just two random jabrones, just like last year's Pat McAfee pack that people hated, right? So let me know in the comments down below. Do these kinds of DLC characters do anything for you? I understand when they have some sort of reverence or relevance to wrestling, like Shaq kind of does. Fine. And if you were to get, like, say, the Lawrence Taylor, right? Because when he had that match with Bam Bam at WrestleMania, if you were to put him in, I'd understand it. Dennis Rodman. Again, people who tied into wrestling, even if you threw David Arquette as a weird one-off random DLC, people wouldn't be a fan of it, but at least it would have a tie-in to wrestling in the history of WWF or WWE or WCW, ECW, whatever. It's just, to me, what tie-in does Jalen Brunson have? You know what I mean? Or Tyrese Halliburton. Great, were they on a Raw once ever and showed up, or a SmackDown or something? Like, who cares? Because that's how I feel about these kinds of DLCs. Are you guys excited for it? It's supposed to be coming out June 25th. Have we even had the special celebrity guest? Did we end up getting our new wave pack? I don't think we have yet. The special celebrity guest, we still don't have that, right? People were saying maybe they've changed it to Goldberg instead. I've heard those rumors. So I'm interested who the final new wave pack will be. And there's still, like, we're this far in, we're getting the DLCs, we're coming towards the halfway point of the life cycle of the game. And I'm still running into nonstop issues in the game. Like, I don't know if you guys have these issues, but when I try and go, if you save a highlight, and you try and do if you're trying to look at the replay to go different angles and all that stuff, to save stuff for, like, to create an entrance video or something like that, when I can't, it'll crash my game every time I try and go into the highlight thing. Any highlights I saved, it will crash my game 100% of the time now when I try and go and look at any of them. So what's going on there? Can that get patched, please? The problem with title belts, when they have too many logos on them, like side plates will just disappear, or logos will just disappear off them. And it makes a difference if you're using a creator wrestler or not that has a bunch of custom logos on them as well. So issues like that, just things that need to get patched out and fixed in this game, that I'm worried won't get fixed at all in 2K25. Issues with community creations, issues where they just randomly, like I saw some people had some custom community creations, like creator wrestlers, they had to change because randomly a random pair of, like, white wrist tape was either removed from the game or got locked to, like, the island or some sort of other part. So the creator wrestler became content damaged, and he had to fix that, but he had to figure that out. Things like that are like, why? Why are we having issues like this? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just want to get this guy out to you as quickly as possible. I know I didn't touch on the Shaq stuff. Shaq, I have the least problem with in these packs. I think his model looks fantastic, and he makes sense because he probably wanted to have a match at WrestleMania. I think it's probably a little too late in the career as far as just, like, having that one-off match with him. But Shaq makes sense to me, right? He did that. He was in that Andre the Giant, I think, Battle Royal or whatever those years ago, and he wanted the match at the Big Show. He makes sense. Jalen Brunson, I'm sorry, I just don't even know who this is, right? I don't follow basketball enough. He's not a big enough star to break through to the mainstream, so why is he in this game, right? If I don't know the name and have no idea who he is, that's your perfect gauge of this guy has not broken through mainstream, and he's not a big enough star that should be in this game. That's my barometer for this. I'm sorry if you're a huge Jalen Brunson fan. Whatever team he plays for, it looks like that's like the Knicks. The color-wise, it looks like this is a Knicks player. So I don't know. I really don't. I don't get it. Apologies, little internet hiccup there, but I just don't. I don't really see the appeal of some of these guys. Shaq, totally get it. This guy, to me, just a random jabron. And again, I apologize if you're a big fan. Same thing goes for the first guy we got, the Tyrese Halliburton. Not doing it for me. Not that I'm a huge Great Khali fan, but I understand there are a lot of Great Khali fans that wanted to see him back in the game for a long time. So that makes sense. To me, Abyss is cool. Again, these aren't players I'm going to often use or play as, but it's cool for people who want them. And Abyss is, I think, it's a well-deserved addition because he never got a match in WWE, but he has been a part of the production team or like the creative team or whatever for a very, very long time now. And he had a great career. Had some amazing, whatever those, like his Abyss specialized matches I remember having against like RVD in Impact and TNA and stuff. Monstrous ball matches and stuff. So like Abyss was he was basically like the Undertaker or the Kane of like TNA, right? Like the big man. And I thought he had a cool gimmick and he had a lot of great matches like AJ Styles and stuff as well. So I think he's a great addition. The Fearless Pack, cool to see New Jack come to the game. We're getting Penta, that's great. Bull Nakano, a legend. Jordan Grace deserves to be in the game. Special celebrity guest, hooray! Again. And then we've got D'Lo. This, to me, is the pack that I'm most excited for. We're getting D'Lo Brown, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Victoria, Mark Henry. How we're managing to get Billy Gunn while he's still under contract with AEW, that's super cool. Because, again, it's just for the music and the entrances, right? That's what you really want him for, and maybe the few unique moves. D'Lo hasn't been in a game for a long time. I hope they have him with his chest protector. I hope they have that attire in the game. But this is the pack I'm probably most looking forward to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Dubious Ones, again, appreciate you all, as always, for watching. But out of this pack, is Jalen Brunson, is he who you're going to be playing first? Is he who you're most excited for? Or is it maybe Abyss, or Great Khali, maybe Shaq, or Tyrese? Let me know in the comments down below. Dubious Ones, until the next one, thanks all for watching. Peace.